This week's episode is brought to you by Colorado Junk Removal.
No more junk, no more stress.
Got some junk laying around the house? You know, that refrigerator that hasn't worked in 2 years.
Yeah, the washer that you said you were going to fix, but you never have.
Absolutely. That couch that's got a big hole in it that you're not probably ever going to give to anybody.
Fence posts that you're never going to fix either. I see a
Exactly.
trend here.
Yeah. Then you need to call Colorado Junk Removal.
What's that number, Dan?
719-249-1717.
You know what? You can also visit them on the web at coloradojunk.com. Or you can send them an email, cojunkremoval@gmail.com.
That's right. Or give them a call. Like we said, 719-249-1717. Matt will come take care of all of your junk.
And remember, no more junk, no more stress. You're on the set with M. Night Shyamalan, right? And you're like, okay, man. So I was reading the script today, going over it again. I'm just kind of, what's my motivation? I swear to God, he's like, okay, play it in just forget about acting. I don't want you to act. Just forget about acting. I want you to do it the most deadpan way that you can that makes no absolute fucking sense. So, you get swing for the fences. Or it's the trees.
So, I'll be honest, like, up until that point of Signs, I kind of liked that movie because it felt like a monster feature kind of a movie a little bit. You know, like you're seeing the foot and all the things, right?
Yeah, you had that.
And then swing for the fences. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? What? Why?
Oh, I get it.
You see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like, up to a point, I was like, I just took it for what it was. I was like, oh, it's kind of a little bit of a mystery, but it's obviously some aliens. And then you got kind of the creature portion of it. And I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be like an old school alien film.
Yeah, right.
And I dug it up to a certain point and then swing for the fences.
Yeah. Well, whenever they showed the Mexican birthday party, and the alien was walking by the alley.
Yeah.
I remember sitting
about that.
I was sitting in some room and some dude was there. I was like, oh my God, that's so scary. I was like, that's a fucking alien, dude. That's not scary. What the hell are you scared of, you fucking pussy?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't ever call anybody that. I'm like, fuck. What the fuck is your problem, man? Have you not ever seen anything? Is this your first movie? All right, let's get that 10 seconds for Harambe.
Quite good. Attack warning. Is it for real? Attack warning for bloody real.
Live from Colorado Springs, the Drop Culture Podcast.
Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Come on, quick, get down. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Brock.
And this week, we're getting into a nice little film from 1982. What are we watching this week, Brock?
Basket Case.
Yes, we are. And yes, we did.
This is a movie like this makes me love horrible movies because of something like this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, it just, I don't know. It's so shitty. It's so bad. But yet some dude really, there's 3 dudes that were in charge of making this movie.
100%. And it spawned 2 sequels. What?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably in the National Film Registry, too.
Oh, it is because this was brought to us by who?
MoMA.
Yeah.
Museum of Modern Art.
Owns the rights to this or saved it or whatever they did.
I don't know.
Wow. That's cool.
Oh.
Saving all the films, I hope, then. If this is, I hope this isn't the bar.
Yeah.
Every movie we have is worse than this one.
Yeah. Oh shit. That would suck ass.
We'll call it modern art.
When does bad taste and bad movies really like hit a point, where you can be like, that's a very horrible movie. And
dude, some of my favorite movies are very horrible movies. Have you seen Peter Jackson's Bad Taste?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's
that's a
terrible,
bad movie.
but
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, so what's this movie about, Dan?
This movie, I don't know how much we want to give away right away.
Just a real quick.
This is about a gentleman who lives with something in a basket. I don't know. Am I just giving the whole story? Because I can throw it out there.
Well, I mean,
they're conjoined twins. He gets
it's called Basket Case.
It is Basket Case from 1982.
Yeah.
Actually, guess we should have said that up front.
Yeah. Well, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm awesome.
It was directed by Frank Henenlotter.
Yeah, it was.
Which he really doesn't have a very big resume when it comes down to movies.
So there are very few people that are in this movie or involved with this movie.
They made up fake credits
that have a wide berth of work. Yeah. Most of them were in Basket Case. Seriously.
Ugh.
Basket Case. Or, we could talk about the people in this movie. There's like 3 people that I care to talk about.
Honestly, like, okay.
I mean, Kevin Van Hinterreich, he was the main character. He's Dwayne.
Hintrick.
Sure.
Hintonrick.
Yeah, something like that. He was in all 3 of the Basket Case movies.
Really? He wasn't the same person, was he?
I don't know. I have not seen the other 2, but I'm pretty sure that's all I saw on his IMDb or whatever it was I was looking on. I'm almost positive. Now I'm going to check.
I'm looking. He was on Brain Damage.
Yeah, that's the other movie that he was in.
And the Catskill Chainsaw Redemption.
Yeah, see, that's where we stop.
And that's it?
Yeah. You know who was actually pretty badass? The guy, we get to a point where we see a young Dwayne and find out the story, and we'll get more into that. But the kid that played him was a stunt performer in Aliens, Robin Hood,
Willow,
and also was the stunt double for Michael Keaton in Batman.
Jesus.
Or a stunt double, I should say. I don't know if the...
Sean McCabe.
Sean McCabe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy's a badass. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Over all the credits that are in this movie, all combined into one, I would take his.
No shit.
That's all I'm saying. Because he did a lot of stunt work. He did some fill-in acting. You know what I mean?
Buffalo Soldiers.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
As you do.
Yeah, The Mummy. Yeah, the dude was he was the unknown stuntman. Holy shit. We finally hit the apex. We hit the apex of the stuntman in this.
That's right.
We did it. And the most famous person in this movie was a fucking stuntman.
That's perfect.
Hey, perfect. You know? That's great. He's the unknown stuntman. This dude is the real fall guy. The real life fall guy. But okay, so
and then you have Beverly Bonner. And she was in this movie and Frankenhooker, which was also made by the same director, correct?
Yes.
And something called Steam, but I don't know what that was. That was fairly recently.
Huh.
She died. Sorry.
Mm. Rest in peace.
Yeah, like last year. Wow.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, that went dark. Anyways. Yeah, so everybody else has been in nothing. But I will say this. The Dr. Julius... hold on. Let me look at my notes. They have some weird last names. The doctors.
Oh man, yeah. Needleman.
No, the first doctor,
Uh,
Lederhosen or whatever. That's not his name.
What was his name? Julius Lifflander.
Yes, Lifflander. That guy is actually like a writer. He's Canadian. He did a bunch of YA books or something.
Well, it only shows his filmography
Yeah.
of this movie.
No, yeah, I don't think he was an actor. I mean, he was more into writing and
Huh.
like wrote a bunch of books, which right on. So there you go. There's your two top people.
And
those guys.
I think they were operating the camera as well
No,
and doing the effects.
Perhaps. I will say that there is one more guy in here who has a Hunter credit. Like he was in Hunter. And that's Robert Vogel. He was the hotel manager.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect for that right there.
Yep.
That dude is a hunter. Yep.
Yep.
He's the hot
He's a
dog
hunter.
vendor.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the hot
exactly.
dog vendor on Hunter episode 42B.
He's recurring hot dog vendor.
He's
I
like, hey,
don't know.
Hunter, what's up?
I could also see him being the captain, like one of those little fat New York captains. You know what I mean? In
Yes.
the police, you know?
Yes.
From the 80s, like Hill Street Blues style.
These dude, I mean, for real, like this movie. When was the first time you saw this movie? How old were you?
I don't know.
Young.
Yeah,
Me
like-
too. It was because
not young, not like 7 or something, but like probably 10.
I think I was around
12.
7, 8, somewhere
Okay.
around there. It really because of the box art.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it was crazy. Every video store had a copy of Basket
Of
Case
course they did.
because it was a VHS runaway kind of a cult film, you know, and
Yeah.
you had to, once you saw it, you were like, oh my God, I gotta watch it. And then you kind of get into it and you don't really remember a lot of it because it's not very memorable except for the Belial.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Who
he's
you
the-
don't learn his name until like 2/3 of the way through the movie. though.
Right. And
There's a lot of that in this movie where you don't learn the names until much later.
Yeah, you're just
through
kind of
most of the
thrown into it.
characters.
Yeah,
Like Sharon, we don't find out her name for a long time.
until she's. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? That's like a lot of the
Right.
characters. Like you don't find out their names until.
Well, this director as well has had in this movie in Brain Damage a history of really like offending his crew.
Oh, nice guy.
I mean,
That
honestly,
seems like the wrong people to offend.
he literally like people walk out on him because they're like, nah, no, we're
Really?
not doing this one. Yeah. Well, there's one scene in this towards the end where his crew walked out on him. Was like, no.
Really?
And in Brain Damage, the same thing.
I knew that in Brain Damage.
They're like, no, we don't want to do this. This is beyond bad taste. If you hit a note with your crew like that they're like, dude, no,
Right.
and they're making a movie called Basket Case or Brain Damage.
Yeah.
Something is like you've like taken you're the punk rock dude. It's like, I don't care. This is gonna be in my movie. I wrote it this way. You're gonna live it, and we're gonna make it. It's like, oh my God. You're gonna operate the camera then. That is a huge thing, you know what I mean? That is a big deal for somebody to be like, nope.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Of course.
More than one person.
Right.
You know, and I mean, any of this trivia kind of stuff that you read, you don't really know until you actually talk to the person to really kind of find out. This dude was like, not like Lloyd Kaufman, where Lloyd Kaufman is kind of more campy, you know, kind of horror, and he goes beyond something. But most people are like, come on, you know, that's just dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people are like, huh? I read this in the script, but we're actually going to do it. I was hoping you were going to cut it. You know, like
Right.
if I was on a movie set, I don't know what would push me to the limit to say nope.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it
No.
would be. I
Yeah.
really don't, and I don't even want to even think about what it would be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I mean that would just be dumb. I don't want to be like, oh, I won't do this on a movie set. And then one of these days, I'm on a movie set, and they're like, "You're going to do this." I'm like, nope.
Nope, that was my line in the sand, sir.
I said this 20 years ago. But what again, with a movie like this, what I love about it is somebody had an idea. They went for it. They didn't pull any punches.
No.
And they did it.
Absolutely.
And
they made it for $35,000. And granted, this was 1982, but still $35,000 to make a movie is nothing.
This is independent. This is like somebody's garage.
Right.
They're in somebody that they know's place. You know what I mean? They're like
They apparently had access to this hotel.
right. But even the
because there's a lot that takes place in that hotel.
but like the where they walk in, that was an elevator.
Oh yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
They just held the doors open. They're like, let's put this here. This will make sense. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this director does with this and Brain Damaged. He does use the New York atmosphere of the time, which was, I mean, in the late the 70s in New York, where it was just a really bad time period for all of New York. Because
I would say 82. I mean, it's not much better.
No. This was kind of like before the "I Love New York" crap. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that. Like my wife. First of all, we'll get into this in just a second, but on this tip, I paused it and I said, "Check it out. It's Times Square, 1982, right?"
Yeah.
And it's got the little Iowa stereo cassette system, like the lights. And she's like, "It's so dark."
Yes.
Because we were there like 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
But that's what it was
like. Of course, a lot different. It looks a little more like Branson.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're doing live video shoots for TRL. but no. The grittiness of 70s New York that you get to see in a lot of movies that people bring in there is the darkness. It's the lived in. Because I was thinking about this too. Because how many years has New York been a city? Right?
A lot of years.
Now think about that, and think about the 70s. Even if it was 150 years or something like that they were an actual city or something like that.
200 and something.
Right. Is New York older than the country?
No, but 200 years ago was what, 1821?
No, 17.
200 years ago?
Oh, I don't know. Math, not a friend of the show.
Yeah.
So
20 minus.
So it was. I mean, we have cities older than the Constitution. So think about that,
True,
right?
that's true.
Think about how much it's built up since then, right? And then think about this lived-in, gritty world that has been completely lived. I mean, Times Square probably. I don't know what Times Square looked like in 1814.
Well, I'm sure.
You know what I
and
mean?
who knows if that's what it was then?
Right.
What
was it? You know what I mean? And then the people in that era, Scorsese, everybody took pieces of that, and you saw the grittiness and the underneath, Taxi Driver, things like that. You saw.
And that was a progression because I would say in the late 50s anyways, or in the 50s, early 60s, it was, going to New York and making my dream. And you know what I mean?
Broadway.
But then the 70s, and I would say, I don't know what the late 60s, I'm skipping that.
Yeah.
But like in the 70s specifically, early 80s, I would assume that, that was the next progression of what was real. It was more real.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is what it's really like. And for me, my perception of New York for the longest time when I was young was the Warriors.
Okay.
I thought that's exactly what New York was. Like there's just gangs running around.
Right. I've never been to New York.
May have been. I don't know.
Right. And I've never lived in New York. I've never experienced it. All my experience and everything that I'm saying is completely influenced by television, whatever.
Sure.
Television, movies, anything like that. So, yeah, that is a romanticized version of anything. But the grittiness of being in Times Square where it was nothing but like porno booths and things like that, that was real.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that you read about it is like they had to clean up that area.
Oddly enough, it was Rudy Giuliani who did that. And then subsequently lost his mind
Yeah.
sometime
I
down
don't
the
know.
road.
I don't know
But
what
really, he was the person. He was not the only person, but he was a driving force in cleaning up.
Right, right.
The
But,
city.
I mean, there's a lot to say that he did okay, but then, yeah, like you said, he lost his mind.
Something
technically,
happened.
yeah.
Something went. Well, not whether he did or not. I'm just saying.
Yeah. A lot different than where he started.
Yeah, he started from the top, and now he's here.
Yeah, yeah, but it's that grittiness of something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this, and it's being on the street and being there, and no permits, things like that. This is guerrilla filmmaking, but this is can we do it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, so let's pull together this money, and I had read somewhere too like $16,000 or something like that. They had a wheelchair for a dolly.
Yeah.
They had to rent their own equipment big time. Out of their own pockets. They didn't have enough crew to fill the credits, so they
Right.
just made up people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the lighting is so bad. Everything is just.
There's a lot off in this movie for sure. There's there's even some directorial choices that were made where I'm like, why are we hanging on this shot so long?
Yeah.
What is going on?
It was a total movie that this guy was learning, but yet created this weird world that was part of. I mean, it could have really likely been there, but I don't think there would have been like a
No.
yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, like a really weird like Siamese twin.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even look Oriental. What? Anyways.
No, there's a lot of things in this, and the sound effects.
Oh my.
The sound effects are like the biggest.
Oh.
The biggest thing in this movie that I'd noticed
They're
right
so
off the bat.
loud and weird. They're just.
Well, whenever he's making something in the basement, you're like, what the hell?
Is that a grinder?
Yeah. And then you look at it and you're like, what? He just put like 3 rakes together.
And a circular saw.
Yeah. What the?
On a sleigh.
What? I
Masterful.
yeah, I know. But what about? I mean, that's one of the things I love about this movie is that it is gritty, it is real, it is horrible. It is a horrible movie.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Could it have been done better? Sure.
Maybe.
Why? I wouldn't want to, but I'm saying it's not a bad premise for a horror movie.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
It's just not done very well. And
Yeah.
but if it was their passion and got them to make great other movies, I don't.
Anybody.
But you should be able to make whatever you want, man.
And
This
again,
became a cult film because of VHS.
right. Anybody that can get your friends together and say, we're going to make this movie, but still get your same friends to be like, fuck you, I'm not filming that.
Yeah. There's something wrong with this dude. I'm not.
It's not that there's something wrong. It's just that he did it.
Right.
That is, to me, that is a huge thing. It's like anybody.
Well, this actually explained a lot to me when you mentioned that earlier. So what would it take for me to
not do
leave?
something?
Yeah, to be like, I'm out. His budget was $35,000. So how much is he really paying me anywhere? Maybe he's just kind of being a douche about that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Here's
Screw
your,
you, dick.
Here's your $200, fuck.
I invested in this shit. I'm never even
But you
going
know
to
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like they were on the set of Furious 9.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have a fancy car.
No.
They didn't even have a good elevator.
No. There were no cars in this movie.
No. Only in the nude scenes.
Boom.
Okay, so I mean, we're not really painting a great picture of this movie.
No, we're not.
But at the same time, this is one of those, I would put it in my 100 movies you got to watch before you die. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that I would do that, but we'll talk about it.
I do. I think that this is something that no budget, no anything, and they made a freaking movie that is still being talked about today.
Well, and not only that, you got to make more movies. sort of.
Yeah, this is what, 40 years ago?
Oh yeah, yeah. Just under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'll be
good
40
Lord.
next year
Oh, good Lord. It's 40th anniversary of Basket Case.
on April 7th.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's get into this movie. I mean, we've kind of set you up for one of the worst movies that you'll ever watch in your entire life.
Or maybe you won't watch it. Maybe you'll be like, man, you know what? I'm just going to listen to these guys talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be fine
Yeah.
either way. I don't care what Brock says about you have to watch it or you die. We watched it for you.
Yeah. Well, we'll just give you a little. I'll give you a little plot summary from IMDb.
Real quick, I will say this before we get into this. I actually am not sad that I rewatched this movie. It was fun enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you should probably watch it and just do that and then
Enjoy
jump
it for
back
what
on.
it is.
We'll wait here. Go do that, and then
Yeah.
What is the secret Dwayne is hiding in the basket?
What's in the basket? Easter eggs?
What's in the basket?
Clothes. What's in the basket?
What's in the basket?
My brother.
What's in the basket?
Open it, if you dare. Basket case.
okay, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Awesome.
After you've seen that awesome movie, let me give you a good synopsis and kind of re-catch you back up to what you just saw.
This is my guess. 50% of the people that are listening right now and moved on with us are writing hate mail.
Well, okay.
It's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. Okay, so this is the IMDb by KGF Vissers. Synopsis real quick. Charming country bumpkin Dwayne Bradley takes a motel room in New York with a basket and a backpack. In a flashback sequence, we learn the basket contains his surgically removed Siamese twin. Doesn't sound oriental. Who is not only so physically deformed, the doctors hesitated to consider him a human, but is also the vindictive driver behind their trip, with the purpose of killing off all those he blames. Blames for what?
For separating them.
Yeah, but in one of those doctor's offices, Dwayne gets his first ever date with the receptionist and wants to start a positive life.
Sharon.
Mm-hmm. When the freak twin escapes, the scene is set for a grim finale.
Yeah, that was kind of a synopsis, sure.
Or a young man carrying a big basket that contains his extremely deformed, formerly conjoined twin brother seeks vengeance on the doctors who separated them against their will. I'll go with that one.
So let me start you in. Let me give you a little mood in this, okay? So when we come into this movie, it's outside, and Dr. Leaflander, right? And he's out there, and something's moving around out in the woods.
Yeah.
And I wrote on here, shaking like a leaf on a tree, because they're obviously moving this branch.
Yeah, all around him.
And it's so great.
He's like, who is it? Who's there? Oh, my God, go away.
And then he goes into his home. But this is when he feels like whatever's coming from him, he starts locking all the doors. He pulls the shade. Weird flex.
Yeah.
Then he goes and gets his gun. And then he puts his gun back down. Like instantaneously. He picks it up and he puts it down like on the table beside him.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Corner yourself.
Yeah.
And then wait until something gets close.
And then he just starts firing bullets. And then we see the rubber hand as he's up against the wall come up. And am I wrong? Is that when the hand came up the first time, did it have all its fingers?
It didn't look like it.
And then when it came down, I'm 100% that when it came down, it was missing a finger, like he bit it off. Leaflander bit that shit off. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe they only had one puppet.
But I think you should look. Everybody should watch this again and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But that's what I feel. I feel like that's where he lost that finger.
I think his hand was so deformed, and that might have been. They probably shot everything in sequence. You know what I mean? Or maybe that was at the very end of the shot.
It had all the hands. It had all the fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm saying when it first went up.
It was kind of weird.
I assume Leaflander bit his finger off.
Had to have.
Yeah.
It was he was a very fleshy little guy. So you don't literally get to see who the big bad is at that point. You don't get to see the monster.
You just saw the hand come up.
He shoots all 6 shots out of his starter gun, right? To scare the dude away.
Right.
You know, because he wasn't trying to kill him, because if he did, he would have aimed. Right. He doesn't.
Well, he just doesn't know how to use that gun. Come on. He's Dr. Leaflander.
Yeah, it's in his desk. And so, I mean, he gets like, I don't know, mangled, you know, to the point where he's spitting blood.
And you can obviously see like the makeup, like around the eyes specifically. Yes. Like look close around the eyes. You'll be like, oh that's a choice.
They should have used a different color of beige.
Still, I'm not saying I could do any better.
Right.
Yeah. So then we get the title sequence. Basket case,
which was, you know, I mean,
yeah, we don't know why yet. It's just basket case.
Yeah,
cut to Times Square.
Yeah, Dwayne is walking down the street with the basket and a backpack, and he does look like a, you know, Joe Schmo country bumpkin. You know, just kind of like,
Absolutely. I didn't know his name at this point because I watched it before I did any research or anything like that, and I hadn't seen it since I was young. And I just wrote the hair.
Yes,
because my God, he is flossing.
Oh man, his hair
is flossing those.
It's not as good as Thanos' father in Amityville. But it's got some curl.
It has got some body.
Yes, it does.
It is big,
but but his head is big too. He's like this really lanky dude.
Yeah,
you know? And he's got that backpack, and then he's the first hotel he sees he goes into.
Yeah,
you know, it's like he's never been anywhere else.
Before he gets there, and I'll be honest, I had to watch. There's a part that I watched like 3 times right here, and that's when he's walking, and the drug dealer comes up to him, and I was like, this is awesome because he's just like naming off. I got this. I got these girls. I got acid. I got rainbow. I got, you know, and I'm like, what?
I got some speed.
I was like, that is an aggressive drug dealer.
Yeah. And he's like, fuck you, man.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. While he's walking past all these weird
and he's not even talking. He's just carrying his basket.
Yeah. He's like totally ignoring everybody, and he sees the hotel, right?
Right.
And he's like, oh, hey, what's up?
Got some good cocaine.
Yeah, the Hotel Broslin.
Yes.
No.
And when he goes inside, of course, there's the 3 men in there, the manager, and then the old dude drinking.
Yeah. There's 2 people drinking outside too. Isn't there?
Yeah. Well, that's what you do at the Hotel Broslin.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they kind of they're painting it as like, the Blues Brothers Hotel almost.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, did you bring my cheese whiz? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you got the weird dude that's got like the dirty fucking shirt, and he's like chilling. Home dude is like, okay, I'd like a room. And he's like, okay.
Stop right there. Because this is the first time in this film when the hotel manager says, what's in the basket?
Yes.
This is going to happen a lot. Yeah. Go.
So he's like, okay, you got to pay in advance. Like, how long do you want to be here for? So he kind of goes through the whole spiel.
He pulls out like a wad of cash, too. I don't know where he got all the cash. I guess they were rich, though.
I guess, right? Because
well, they lived upstate. And,
yeah.
You know?
The Catskills.
And the aunt took care of him after his father
freaked out.
died.
But yeah, so I mean, he whips out that cash, and the one little dude's like,
Oh, that's a lot.
Boy,
Right. He gets room 7,
Yeah.
as you do.
of course.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the top, and then
Before he gets up there, that
Yeah.
old lady, dude, she stops him and she tells him about the person that lived in that place, and she was an old lady, and she would say they were ripping off her, trying to take her money.
yeah, they were trying to take her money,
but
but
they don't
nobody
know
knew
where
her.
she at.
Yeah.
They don't know where she is.
Then she decided to take a trip. She paid her rent and left.
Yeah.
And they haven't seen her since. And then the woman runs down the stairs.
Like just bolts.
yes.
So she's normal.
Okay. So
So right away, you're getting a great impression of this place.
and you already see the other dude is like, "Do you see that wad of cash that he had?" Whoa. So
And then, like, he's still not to his room yet.
Hmm.
And then we get the sexy swinging sounds of the night call girl.
yes. was she a hooker?
She was 100%. She was taking that dude to her place.
Yeah, now
And then another dude came by later, like later on in the movie, and then she disappeared with him.
well,
going to her room.
what was funny about that? It was like it was like the librarian,
Mm-hmm.
right, in the weird suit, and he's like tapping her butt,
Right.
you know, with his hand, and she just looks back. She's like,
That's just my assumption.
I guess, right?
Maybe not. I think maybe she was a high class call girl.
She got the $5 a trick. But yeah, so he gets to his room, right?
I don't
goes
know
in-
what else she did.
I don't
Unless
know.
she ran that bar.
I guess I don't know.
I don't either.
How do people live in hotels?
I don't know.
$20 a day and shit. You know what I
I
mean?
think you get maybe a better monthly rate.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Or weekly rate.
I mean,
Shit.
$20 a day wouldn't be too bad now. That's $600.
Oh my god! Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
That's like nothing.
you can't get that.
No.
No, there's no way.
Especially not in New York.
You would be in a hotel like that.
I don't think you'd be in that good of a hotel.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh, gross. So
Anyways.
So yeah, so he gets in there, and of course he kind of gets settled in, I guess, and then he goes back downstairs. Anywhere I can get something to eat?
No, he specifically says pizza or burgers.
Yeah,
when
any
he
place to
asks
get
him.
pizza or burgers? Yeah,
You're in New York.
it's pizza.
Isn't that what they do?
pizza?
I mean, that's what happened when I was there. I ate a lot of fucking pizza.
Had a lot of pizzas, and so the home dude's like, "Yeah, it's right across the street."
And the one dude interrupts the dude saying it.
Yeah,
It's like I think that was just like a gaffe. Like I think they screwed up and they were just like, it's fine, just keep it.
cut print.
We don't have enough money for that.
We can't go back. One onesies is all we got. And so yeah, so he gets back and he's got like this whole giant he's got like
All the hamburgers.
yeah, he's got like 4 bags
And
of
it's
hamburgers.
so weird because he like starts and he like pulls them apart and gives them the meat, and then he just starts throwing all of them in. Then he starts throwing them in with the wrappers on them. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
He's like, you're already done. You know, what? You know, so
we're just seeing the basket and we're
Yeah.
seeing the
Yeah.
moving a little bit. Yeah. But we don't see anything yet.
no, but we know that the dude's eating like a freaking cow or whatever, you know. And
We also have no idea what's in the basket.
well, they also yeah, they also they kind of foreshadowed with the blood going across the file at the very beginning,
Oh yeah.
and the file is there. So you know, oh shit.
Yeah.
So he's looking through it and he's like, okay, that's our next person that we got to go talk to, right? And then he dumps all the burgers in, and he has one of those introspective moments on that bed where he's laying down on his own and he's eating the burger, you know, kind of just drifting. You know what I mean?
Drifting off.
Yeah.
That's where we get the perspective shot from whatever's in the basket.
Yeah, yeah, where he's just, and then,
Or no, I guess that's when he wakes up. We get that.
yeah, he wakes up because he's like, I don't want to talk. Are you gonna pace the floor all night? You know what I mean? So I guess the dude's
Because
out.
he woke up at like 3:33 in the morning or something.
Something
like
weird
that.
like that. Yeah, it was like 3 o'clock. It was the witching hour.
Whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, we got a busy day. But you don't hear any other talking. So obviously he's like telepathically talking to him.
Right,
or something,
right.
So they wake up the next day and he goes into like some weird doctor's office that was right next to like a sex novelty place.
Right. And we do get that one dude that's like looking through his keyhole.
Yeah.
And then the Casey girl, she busts him.
She's like, "What are you doing?"
I'll knock right now.
It's like, oh,
I gotta go.
He's in room 8.
Yeah.
Because
and she's in room 5.
Yeah. Weird.
Which is true.
Yeah. So
they have that whole weird interaction about the typewriter.
Yeah, she comes in. She's like, "Well, this is a typewriter," and the old woman's like, "Well, this is the second time he's giving me bad whatever you call it."
Yeah, he was allergic to the drug.
Yeah, I'm allergic to the drugs, and he's given it to me twice. You know, I don't know why he's doing that. What is he thinking? And she like picks up like 4 Delamo shopping bags, right? And then does she go? I think she goes in to see the doctor.
Goes in to see the doctor.
And it's confusing. And then homegirl is like, "Hey, well, this is the one that's not working.
This is the sound it was making."
Yeah, and she like really, she's like makes a fucking funny ass sound, right? And he's like, I don't know anything about typewriters." Oh, whoops!
And right here's where we get the second. What's in the basket?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's all like already on this dude's like.
Well, she volunteers like right away to be his tour guide.
Well, because she pencils him in. She's like,
Yeah.
"Well, the doctor likes an appointment."
Yeah,
but
and then
you
she
made
even
an
changes
appointment.
the last name for him.
Yeah,
so he can surprise him.
yeah. Say it's Smith. He's like, "Okay, fuck it." Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
What the hell is the dude eating whenever he goes into the office? Like a really gross burrito or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he throws it away and he wipes his hands on his pants and shit. You know, he's like, "So what brings you in?" And he's like, "Well, I got this pain." He's like, "Ah," and he starts barking weird shit at him, right? And then he sees the big scar on his side,
Right.
Because he has him take his shirt off and everything like that, right? So that was them casing the joint.
Right. Well, and on the way out, that's where we get the interaction with the receptionist again.
Yeah, when she's like, "I'll be your tour guide."
Right. And she says something about, he's like, "Can I call you tomorrow? Because he's got something to do tonight." Right. And her numbers that she gives him is 233-3000, just in case anybody needs that. You can call that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they put.
Yeah. But he puts the basket across the room, and then he goes and whispers to her.
Yeah, because he even says, "Because I don't want him to hear," or something like that.
She's like, "Who?"
Right.
Doctor can't. She even
doctor?
speaks. She's like, "The doctor can't hear." Huh? So
And then we cut to that kung fu theater.
yeah, dude's in there watching some kung fu flick with like 6 seats in the theater, right? It's a weird theater.
And he's got the basket up next to him, and he starts dozing off.
And he dozes, and one dude's ready to pounce.
Yeah, some skeezer dude steals totally steals the basket.
Runs too
Yes.
to the bathroom.
To the bathroom to bust that lock off there and see what's in the basket.
Oh, and here's the thing too. It's like, why would you put a screw and a padlock in a wooden basket?
It takes him like 2 seconds to bust it off.
That's not gonna keep anything out or in.
No.
So yeah. So he jumps out
Nice
and he
basket,
screams,
bro.
and then home dude's like, "Oh, there it is," and he goes in there. And he's like, "Oh, you got to get back in here."
And that dude's like running out with blood out his face.
Yeah, all like scratched up and shit, right? So yeah, so he ends up getting the thing back, and then he does go. After this, he goes back to the room, right? So they're chilling, and he's like, "Okay, well,
This is where we get a weird interaction real quick. While we're still in the bathroom when he's putting him back in there, he says, "Not now, not yet. Save it."
Oh, yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's going on here?" You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like something diabolical.
yeah." So this is weird.
And that's when we cut back to the doctor, and he calls Dr. Cutter and she's in the middle of her date night with the young guy.
What is that?
No, you should drink more. You should drink more. She's like trying to get this
Yeah.
young cat drunk so she can.
Yeah, she's like, you're cuter whenever you drink, whenever
I
you're
don't-
drunk.
Yeah, I don't mind the drool or whatever.
Yeah, she was like a weird,
Yeah.
like cougar slash.
And then he calls and he's like tells her about LaFlander or whatever his name was, Leaflander.
She's like, prank caller. You know what I mean?
And
then-
she's like, we don't know a Leaflander.
yeah, I've never been there before.
Right.
So
And then he goes back to her little date.
right. And so he basically he comes back into the night before, I guess they're sitting there and kind of looking at the shit, and he's like, listen, you don't got to go with me, today. Because I can go do this on my own. You can just kind of chill out here, right?
No, not this yet.
No, not yet.
Because this is where the reason he couldn't go out with her tonight is because this is the night where he lets
Belial.
Yeah, which we don't know his name yet.
Yeah.
But he lets Belial go kill that first doctor. Not the first doctor, but the Needleham.
Because he like dumps
Yeah.
him out.
The
and
receptionist is doctor.
Yeah,
yes.
he's like, I'll
Because she's
I'll
like
meet you
locks up,
downstairs.
and she even made a comment earlier that she will see him Thursday because there's a day gap in there, which makes sense for the timing that this movie is going to work out in.
She's got the full day off.
Mm-hmm.
The day is like Thursday or Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, Wednesday, because she'll
Yeah.
be back on Thursday,
Yeah.
which turns out interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Belial, or the deformity, the wart.
the other twin.
Yeah, the wart twin reaches up and like breaks the door, right?
Yeah, well, it's weird too because you see his arm go up, so we still haven't seen him yet.
But you hear this crunch.
As it goes away from, like, you don't, like, as that scene ends, that's when you hear the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're back in with Needleham, and then he finds the door smashed.
Yeah, he
That's
comes
how
out
they
and he's
did
like,
that.
oh.
That's how you do it for $35,000.
Right. You just take it off the hinges and set it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it behind something. But hold it up with something. It's like, hey, hold this up while I take this shot real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Belial is like a sneaky little bastard. Like he can get in and out of places that nobody else can.
Well, yeah.
Lock doors, and plus he can like hang on the ceiling and the side of buildings and shit like that, right? So he ends up getting this dude, and this dude again does the whole bleeding out the mouth thing. You know, like spitting up blood, like, bleh, and it's just blood just dripping down, right? So he dies, right?
He's in half at the end of it, that one.
Right. Yeah, he like, because
But he does freak out.
yeah, Belial reaches into like his stomach and like rips him apart.
Yeah.
And then you get to see like half of his body.
And then
on
it
one
pans
side.
up.
And then the other half of it. You're like, oh, goddamn. Right? And so like Belial actually does get out, right?
And, which we didn't mention earlier, he brings the address book, which is the most important piece.
He says, bring the address book. But it's a Rolodex.
It is a Rolodex. But it does have Dr. Cutter's address in it.
This is the first one he finds.
Right.
He's like, oh, it's right here.
Right here.
Oh, thank God. Click. He takes it out of the Rolodex, So, and that's, okay, now that's whenever they're like, he goes, you know what? You can just chill out. You don't really need
He comes in with that box and that package of wieners.
Yeah. And he gives him a whole bunch of wieners, right?
He gives him a bunch of wieners, puts a bunch of wieners in the basket. But then he opens the box and it's a TV.
Right.
And he's such a dick, dude, because he doesn't like tune it into anything.
No, he just
It's just like a rolling screen.
yeah.
And then he's like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, the
Gotta go,
V
I got
hold's
this."
off and shit like the UHF and the V hold is off. And he's like, okay,
I would be a mad wart brother too.
yeah. I'd be kind of butthurt,
If I had a butt.
Yeah. Well, he has something.
Well, as we find out.
Yeah. So Belial reaches out while he's out and turns the knob and it breaks the knob off.
Yes.
Right. So he's like, curse this freaking, beefy arm that I got. So they're at the Empire State Building. Or no. They're at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got to take these boots off. Been walking in them for so long.
And that's where they have that great conversation. I didn't really want to go see all this stuff. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I just wanted to spend time with you. Me too.
Yeah.
And then they make out.
And Belial flips out.
And this is where we really first get to see him, right? We get the full animation, the stop motion, if you will.
Well, he starts screaming.
Yeah, yeah.
That is one of the craziest, weirdest screams. Like it's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is. It's very, very like.
It's not as unsettling as like Donald Sutherland's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
unsettling. This is just terrible.
This is just
yeah.
It's gross. And so he rips apart the room, and that's when you get to see the stop motion animation. Like they didn't have enough film to actually make it look fluid.
No, I think I mentioned it to you that it reminded me like it was worse than the stop motion in Better Off Dead.
Yeah,
for the
the little hamburger dude.
Yeah,
that was better.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then what was it?
It wasn't good.
Davy and Goliath. You remember those?
Yeah.
It was like a Gumby movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
To where they had to move an extra inch. You know? And so he like throws shit across the room.
What you get for 35. They do a cool thing where he like grabs the dresser drawer and throws it at the screen.
Yeah.
And then it changes perspective and it smashes.
Right.
I was like, okay, there was something there.
They had a little bit of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He throws the lamp and he's screaming.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the
All
hell?
the neighbors are like pouring out into the hallway and like, what's going on?
Even the dude in the pink robe.
Yeah.
Which he shows up at least 4 times.
Of course.
For the
he
rest of the
does.
movie.
Yes.
He's always in a pink robe. It looks like he just woke up.
Yeah.
So crazy, right? So they're all freaking out. And finally, the superintendent or the manager runs up, opens the door, and they're like, what the hell happened
The place
here?
is trashed.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I saw him leave this morning at
Yeah.
like 9 o'clock. Oh, okay, cool. Then, his money's there.
Yep.
Nobody else sees it except for the squirrely freaking asshole dude.
The old, the guy
peeping
that
Tom.
was peeping through the keyhole there.
Yes. So he's like, yoink.
I like how when he steals that, and then of course he's attacked by Belial.
Mm-hmm.
They conveniently go into his apartment.
Yeah, he like literally runs.
I mean, which
out.
is across the hall. I'm not saying it's far, but it was just weird.
Well, it's kind of down the hall.
It is a little
to
bit.
the right, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he runs out of the room, and he's got Belial like scratching him and shit like
holding
that.
on to his face.
Right,
His
and he goes into his
claws.
own room and shuts the door.
Yeah,
And then he's screaming.
I've got this on my face.
He goes into his own bathroom and shit like that, so it's easy to clean up.
Don't want to leave a mess.
Right. So, whenever they finally get up there, Belial has done another one of those, like, magic tricks where he ends up back in the room and shuts the door.
He even closes his little basket lid.
Yeah, it's like... So...
And then we get the hair coming back.
Yes. He comes back because he knows Belial is freaked out.
Right.
Because he was kind of like, I got a boner. What do I do? You know what I mean? He's got to run all the way home to kind of find out.
Well, and he stops sharing because they tell him, about the dude getting killed.
He's like, I don't want you to get hurt. And
But he kind of like throws her, dude.
He
He's
does.
like real aggressive.
Yeah.
And then
around everybody else.
Yeah, and then he runs up, and of course, who sees him? The mustache, man. That guy's mustache was awesome.
Yeah, the cop.
Yeah. Oh,
The detective.
boy, that was flowing.
Yeah, it was.
I
I mean, it was like a fight between the hair and the mustache at that point.
My God.
So he comes up and he's like, you mind if I come in? He's like, what happened here? I wasn't feeling good. Something weird.
Is it just you here?
Right.
Where were you? Could I ask somebody? Would they tell me?
He's like, yeah, I guess. Do you have an alibi for today? Yeah. You mind if I come back in a couple of days? Like, for real.
You know what happens right here? We get the third. What's in the basket?
Yeah, what's in the basket? Clothes. I mean, just like...
Well, don't they open it?
Yeah, and there's nothing
Nothing
in
in there.
there. Yeah.
Because you know where he's at?
He's in the toilet.
He's in the toilet, as you would be. And so as soon as they leave, you see him come
Yeah, you see the freaking hand come out of the toilet, and it's like, "Pukunk." You can hear the seat clink and everything. It's just so fucking weird.
And then he goes over and gets a towel for it and
Yeah.
hugs it. I'll never leave you.
Yeah, wipes him down and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's so fucking weird. So he's got all of his money because the cop even sees the money. He's like, you shouldn't be leaving this sitting around.
Right.
But it's like a wad of freaking cash. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm surprised it didn't get stolen by one of the crew members.
And then we cut right to them being in the bar.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
He's
And
got
he's,
the basket and he's loaded
Oh, he is gone.
already.
And then Casey shows up and she knows everybody. She's hugging and, hey, what's up? So that's why I don't know. Maybe she just runs that bar or something.
Or
you
she
know?
just lives
Or
around there.
She's
Yeah.
just the shit. I don't know. I don't know what she did.
She just picks up a lot
Maybe
of
she
dudes.
invented something.
I don't
She
know.
just likes to have sex with lots of dudes. I shouldn't judge, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, she invented
I
an
shouldn't
app.
infer.
Yeah, she invented an app.
In 1982.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's like, I got some heavy drinking to do at the back of the bar.
Right.
And, of course, they go back there, and they're all laughing and giggling and having a great time.
Because he tells her that he was a letter sorter.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a letter guy. She's like, you're a mailman? Ah!
And they laugh.
Yeah. He's like, ha ha.
And then he tells like the story. Like he's like, because here's where we get the fourth. What's in the basket?
And he's like, it's my
Siamese twin brother. She's like, you don't even look Oriental. They laugh it up. And then he's like goes off about it.
Yeah, he kind of tells her everything at this point.
And he even talks about the telekinesis. That's where we get the explanation, or not telekinesis, but telepathic link.
Yes.
And that they used to have it together and they could both do it.
Right,
and
right.
now only Belial can do it.
Yeah.
And then we're about to actually get his name here because this is where we flash back.
He calls him Dwayne the whole time.
Yeah.
While he's talking about it.
Yeah.
He calls him Dwayne the whole time.
Well, because I don't think you tell somebody Belial. Isn't that one of the names for the devil? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So she's like, are you fucking for real? Are you messing with me right now? And he's like, no, he's my conjoined twin. So she walks him up to the room, right?
Right.
Where he's like freaking drunk.
Oh, he's so drunk.
And he's like, you go first. She's like, no, I need to. So she unlocks her door real quick,
Right.
opens it up, and
Okay.
then she's like, okay, do you got this? And it's literally taken 2 steps to get into his room. And he can't make it because he's about to pass out on his feet. So she helps him into his bed, sets him down, and then the basket is weirdly outside for a little bit.
Yeah, he sits it down when they're trying to get in.
And she's just watching him sleep.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
And then he like just snaps too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure he got the message in his head, hey, Dick, you left me out here. That's what I assume.
Come get the basket.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay.
brother, to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Like he gets up really
That'd be great if
fast.
that's actually how he talked in his head.
He gets out and he runs over there really quick and then he lays back down.
And is passed out. He's
But
drunk.
but Belial obviously, got out and went into her room. He didn't even notice the
'cause
weight.
he goes outside the windows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is fucking weird too. He's like howling at the moon, like, "Ah!" Something weird like that, right? So she gets into her room, which is covered in smiley faces.
Well, we should go. But before all that, though, we get the flashback.
Oh my God, yes.
Which is I
Holy
think
crap.
super important because it tells all the stories. So it starts out with a crib and all those people standing around,
Right.
and it's like the dad, and he's freaking out because like the mom died
Was
during-
killed by
during childbirth,
yeah.
and then his kid was born with, 2 of them conjoined, and he's like, now you tell me I have to have 2 names for them.
Yeah. What the fuck is this?
So did he call him Dwayne?
I don't
It's
know.
Dwayne and Dwayne. There was some weird.
Yeah, it
weirdness
was like a
there.
weird dichotomy kind of a deal. But the aunt, because he explains that his aunt raised him,
Well, yeah, and before, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't infer that was the aunt until like a little bit later, because then we find out he's 12 years old. Because he's like, I've been dealing with this for 12 years, and he's in talking to some people. The dad is, and I've had all the hospitals turn this down, and just do it.
Yeah,
And they're gonna take out the sign. You know, they're gonna cut the meat wad off.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So they bring in a priest, a rabbi, and a doctor, and a veterinarian. What the fuck?
As we find out later.
Right. So they like sedate both of them,
yeah.
right? And like puts a couple of needles into Belial's head. You know,
Those surgery sound effects are terrible.
Oh God, they're bad. And her acting in the surgery too was pretty, bad. But the way they separate him too, he would have bled out.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, are they ready for some sort of a graft to go here? What's going to happen?
Yeah, what's going to happen? What's going to grow back except for ribs? So yeah, he's all messed up. But they like pull him off and like,
just put some gauze over it. It's fine.
Weird shit is like falling off of him. And it's like
off the Belial. Yeah.
And so home dude wakes up in his bed and he's like, oh, wait a minute. And then he hears him.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay, where'd you go? He's in a trash bag.
By the trash. They're just like, there you go.
It's like a I don't know, it's like one of those assholes that throws dogs in the street in a trash bag.
Or puts kittens in a pillowcase and drops them in the river.
It's so fucking weird, right? And it's not even trash day the next day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They're not going to pick up the trash for a little while. There's no dumpsters around there.
Right. And you kind of feel bad.
Yeah, you do.
You're like, oh.
And
just cut him off and throw him in the trash.
Yeah, I mean, and weird screaming.
Yeah.
And so
that would probably drive me nuts too.
Right.
That's a lot of weird screaming going on there.
Well, and that's when Dad's still asleep.
Yeah, he starts waking up because he's hearing hammers and saws and grinders,
drills.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, weird shit the whole time.
And he goes down to the basement, and I love it because he's just in his pants and his belt's all kind of undone.
Yes,
no shoes, no socks, no nothing. And he goes down into the basement and gets a nail in the foot.
Yeah, well, he just steps on it. He's like, but he's like laying flat.
Yeah, it wasn't like in him.
But that basement is huge.
It's a giant.
It's
dude.
like 3 levels down.
Obviously, they're pretty well off because the upstairs where they were all looked really nice. You know what I mean?
And I mean, but like he goes down to the basement. And then he goes down to another basement.
Like another sub-basement.
Yeah, and then he goes into a couple of other medieval rooms.
And then he gets a sleigh of implements of doom and a circular saw.
Yes.
It's like, here's some random sharp garden items and a circular saw that comes down on a sleigh?
Yeah, down a weird
I don't know. And
incline.
Right into him and
chops him in half.
Yep. And
From
the other half.
Yes.
Like vertically.
Yeah, vertical half. Like his legs are like, they're so cool.
That was
the way
a good sound effect.
Yeah, the way that they just like fall over, you're like, oh. And then Aunt comes in there and she's like, okay, the police are gone. They don't suspect anything. They don't know how he died. He freaking got, I mean, what?
Yeah.
Did they think that was an accident? I mean, how did they not?
Yeah, I mean, he was stacking the circular saw that was on and all these implements on this thing, and it just fell back down and cut him in half.
Well, it had like pitchforks on it, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. It had like 2 pitchforks on the side and everything like that.
He was stacking them all on top of there with the circular saw running.
Yeah.
As you do.
Like, whoops.
And, oh.
No,
probably not.
And then she's reading them a story.
Yeah.
So she becomes their
and time passes.
Yeah.
And so does the end.
Yes. So yeah, she's reading like from The Tempest or something like that. Some Shakespeare deal. Something.
I don't remember what it was.
And then we do a hard cut to her being dead.
Yeah.
okay. And
then we see the heir apparent.
yes. Yeah. And then we're back in the hotel,
Yes.
right?
And that's when she takes drunk Dwayne home. Because she
Okay.
told that story during the...
Right.
So now Casey goes back to her room. She lays down after she changes.
Well, her whole
her
room is
pajamas.
yellow.
Well, yeah.
It's got nothing but smiley faces everywhere.
Even the shirt she puts on.
She her nightgown
Yeah.
or nightie or whatnot.
Sure, I mean, night shirt.
And then she takes off her underwear.
Right.
Which they made it a point to show her do that.
Well, it's important.
Yes.
Because later on.
Yeah, we see why.
Mhm.
So she's laying there, basically asleep.
And then Belial gets some boob.
Yeah, he goes for the boob
Yeah,
first.
he does.
He's like, hello?
Hello, let me touch your boob.
Because he's hiding behind the pillows.
Right. Yeah, that was so cool, dude.
He like knocks the pillows out and then he's like, yoink,
boob.
squeak, squeak.
And of course, she freaks out.
Yeah.
All the neighbors come.
And she goes over to the crazy lady's room to spend the night.
Yeah, she's going to spend the night over there.
That's weird.
Right?
So again, that's another screaming deal. All the screaming has started in that hotel as soon as that home dude came there. Dwayne,
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I mean?
But it's awesome because then Belial's back in the basket and he's got Casey's underwear.
Yeah, he's like sniffing panties and shit.
Weirdo.
Because he goes outside. He like goes around the corner and shit like
he
that.
just goes out the window and then down because he's got long arms and not much body mass.
Yeah, so
he's
can
like
grab onto shit.
Yeah.
Well, because whenever he killed the doctor in the doctor's office, he was sitting on the stairs.
Yeah.
Which was weird, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, we'll get into something a little bit later where you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Well, then we find out.
This is where Dwayne wakes up and he's all like hung over.
Yeah, he's all messed up. Like, what? Right? And then we find out that the last doctor is a veterinarian because they go there.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, oh, so your cat's sick? And they're twins.
Right.
That are in there, too.
Yeah. Weird.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
So
I love it because she's Dr. Cutter.
Yeah. And she's the one that cuts.
She's the one that cut them apart. And she's
Right.
a cutter.
So
What a twist. Wait, that's not a twist.
Yeah. So eventually, Belial, she's like pretty mean too.
No. Well, yeah. So once she's like, go in here. And so they go into the or the checkout room, whatever that's called. Checkup room.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
I don't know. And he starts talking about Leaflander and all that, right? And this is where we get the fifth. What's in the basket? Because she's starting to catch on, you know? She's like, oh, okay.
She's figuring it out.
Yeah. And that's when, of course, Belial comes out, messes her up.
Big time.
Yeah. And I thought for a minute that he like ripped her tongue out. But then he didn't because you could see her tongue.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like his hand went into her mouth.
Yeah.
And then there
Pulls
was a
her
bunch
down.
of blood. Yeah.
Yeah, and she spits blood again.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
And then she pulls a scalpel out of the drawer and then drops it because he smashes her down into the drawer full of scalpels.
Yeah. Which Belial gets them.
A fitting end.
Yes.
To Dr. Cutter.
She's got nothing but scalpels around.
And as soon as those twins come in, of course, they're already gone, right?
Yeah.
Because they pack up and get the hell out of there.
How do they escape?
They're ninjas.
Yeah.
But and she's got like 6 scalpels sticking out of her face and then kind of dies, I guess. I don't know. She screams a lot.
She screams for a very long time.
Very long time with scalpels in her face.
And
as you
then-
would, I guess, if you had a
and
bunch
then
of
just,
scalpels
like,
in your face.
Blunk.
Yeah, and then it's over. That's how it
Yeah.
works. In
They're like,
the real world.
and they're gone, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, whenever they get, they get back, right, and then Sharon comes and she's like, "Hey, guess what? Home dude's dead.
Doctor's dead.
I don't gotta go to work anymore."
I need to be with somebody. I only thought of you.
Yeah. But then, Well, this is kind of creepy too. The way that she's laying on the bed, and he does the same thing Bilal does, and like gets a handful of boob.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But she's ready to get it on.
Yeah, she's like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, I think she even says, "Take me."
Yeah,
You know?
and he just grabs one of her boob, and then he wraps her up in a blanket and kicks her out the room.
Well, and because what happens is Bilal freaks out, and you can tell he's like psychically.
He doesn't want
talking to him.
Doesn't want him to have sex.
I don't think he wants them to be the important piece. You know what I mean? Like their mission, whatever they're doing. Which really their mission at this point's done.
Yeah, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want him to be like independent.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be left alone.
Right.
With the TV with the horizontal bars going crazy. So he's about to get his whoopity on. And it's like, damn you, Belial.
He's like, weird.
He's the last Dwayne.
Yeah. He gets angry with him, right? So they get in a little tussle, and then Belial doesn't kill Dwayne.
Dude, it was so weird because Belial like gets up while Dwayne's asleep, right? And he goes over and like rubs his hair.
Yeah,
for a minute. I mean, as you would. I mean, it's his hair. It's pretty badass.
It's pretty awesome.
But then his eyes start glowing red.
Yeah,
and it's like out of the blue that started happening because that wasn't happening before, right?
No. It's like he was getting more powers.
And then we get Dwayne dreaming about running naked.
Well, yeah, because Belial jumps up to the ledge and is like,
oh yeah, he's howling at the moon or whatever.
And so he's running.
So yeah, what we see is basically Dwayne taking that journey with him, right?
Technically, yeah. He's
but,
naked.
Because it's psychic, right? But he's naked, and brother needs to get some Manscaped.
No
Not
shit.
a sponsor. But come on, brother.
I mean...
I thought it was like, is he wearing like a speedo? Oh,
no. That's
not.
bush.
Yeah, it's all bush.
Yeah, he's running naked in the streets of New York.
Yeah, but there's nobody out because it's a dream.
Yeah.
But it's not really a dream.
Not really, because there's
it's
cars.
A psychic thing.
And there's cars in the background.
There are
and shit.
cars in the background.
So that was Belial running through the streets.
But how does Belial run? Like on his arms?
I don't know.
I wish they would have showed that.
Yeah, does he spiderweb shit? You know what I mean?
I would just wish he would run like legs with his arms.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be crazy.
That's probably what happens.
Well, he's got one long arm and one short arm.
Yeah, so he'd be like...
Yeah, it'll be weird.
You can't see that, but it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it'd be weird. So he makes it to Sharon's house, right? And
then you see the hand start brushing her hair.
Yeah.
And her leg.
And then he starts going for the nipple.
Yeah, he goes for it too. He gets him some.
Well, I mean, she's got a nice rack, right? And he gets his, and I mean, she's sleeping naked, right?
Right.
And they really do kind of emphasize her rack in that whole thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like here's 2/3 of the screen is her boob.
Is her titties. That's a gross word. Titties.
And then Sweaty McSweats wakes up.
Yeah.
That guy's like pouring with sweat. You can tell they just threw some water on him, you know.
And he's like, "Oh my god." So he starts he
really
goes,
starts running.
And then we see Belial choke what's her Sharon out.
Well, he's like on top of her.
Well, he is actually having sex with her.
I know he is.
Which is disgusting. Because he gets there after she's dead, right? Laying in bed.
Dwayne does.
Yeah, and Belial is like raping the dead woman.
Yeah.
This is the scene where they walked out.
Oh, it's understandable.
This is the scene they were like, nah, fuck this. This is gross. This is wrong. We're not going to see some fucking puppet humping a supposedly a dead woman with a nice rack.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which her hair in this part of it too. I mean, in the whole movie, she had a wig on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her hair
was
she had massive hair, and you could tell it was fake. So he grabs Belial.
I just figured it was 1982.
Right. He grabs Belial basically, right?
Right.
And
Well, and that's all the neighbors come again.
Well, they get back to the deal, and the neighbors show up.
Because, like,
again.
yeah, he runs out, and because he's yelling at him
Yeah.
while he's holding the basket running up to his room.
Yeah, and he's like throwing it up against shit, and I can't believe you did this. You're disgusting. I hate you.
Right.
You're not my brother. So he goes up to his room, and they kind of get into another little tussle, pretty much. He's like, I'm going to fucking kill this dude. But, like, he never has any implements to do that. I mean, obviously, with Belial, you could probably, like, put him on a pike, or like a bedpost and
Cut
kill
him in half with a machete.
Something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to catch the shit. You know what I mean? I don't know, though. I don't know. Yeah. So
But
they
go out the window.
Yeah. After everybody's watching them.
Yeah,
fight.
all the neighbors are watching it.
Yeah, they finally get
now
in.
we know what's going on.
Correct. They go out the front window, and he is precariously over the actual sign.
Yes.
So he's hanging Belial actually grabs him by the balls too.
Oh yeah, we didn't say that part because he just straight grabs his junk and lifts him off the ground with
from
his
the
strong,
basket.
with his long, strong arm.
With the strong hand. And he's like suspending him from the basket by his balls. And the dude's like, ah. And that's when.
As you would.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Shit. Somebody lifting you by the balls up to the ceiling from a bed.
Right.
And so they go out the window, and we see Belial still got his short hand around his neck, holding
Around
him up.
Dwayne's neck.
Yeah, Dwayne's neck. While he's holding on to something else.
Like the side of the building,
Right,
whatever.
right. And they're suspended right above the sign. And
So he's like choking Dwayne out with one arm.
Yeah, while
he's hanging on with the other one.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
He doesn't even offer him any help.
No.
Yeah,
He
he's
just
like, hey,
choked.
we could live through this.
No.
He's like, fuck you, you're not my brother. So then, then the four hookers.
There was like 6, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, a lot of hookers.
And the one looks up and is like, ah, it's classic. They take a while to get to that part. She's just like, huh, what is that? 5 feet above my head. Oh, shit.
And then you can tell Dwayne chokes out and he's done. And then they both fall.
Yes. So as soon as he killed him, he killed himself.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
But did he? Because there's a 2 and a 3.
He lands on the ground and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah, I think
so. He's all kind of messed up, right?
Wouldn't be the same. Just saying.
But that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
We get to see them both dead on the ground, supposedly.
Yeah. I think they're both dead.
This was Basket Case's Star Wars.
Yes.
You could have ended it right here.
Which is funny that you say that because Star Wars, the biggest thing about was the battle between the old school and the progeny, right? The next one.
Yeah.
The Basket Case 3 is called The Progeny.
Oh, shit. So I bet you Basket Case 2 is like Empire. Then.
Yeah.
So they're going to leave you. Yeah.
Belial wins.
Yeah. Yeah. But then they're either going to come back for Basket Case 3.
Yeah.
Because he's older now. He's 32.
This time it's personal.
Again, we've gone through all of that.
That's the whole movie.
And I would almost have to say that the best part of the whole movie was Sharon's tits.
I will say that the best part of the movie was the drug dealer at the very beginning talking to him when he got to New York. His whole, I want to get that. I'll find that sound clip if I can, and I will put it in this. I just laughed. I played it like 3 times. I'm like, I got to catch all the stuff this guy's saying.
It's everything. Every single drug known to man.
It's just crazy.
He's like, I got PCP, I got acid, I got some mushrooms, I got some good cocaine, I got alcohol, I got
girls,
I
got rainbow.
What? Did you just make that up?
It's so good. It's so good. But so for real, my wife was like, "What are you watching tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me tell you. We're watching Basket Case." And so she watched the trailer. And then she put on Facebook, she goes, "I just want to know what's in the basket." Because in the trailer, it's like, "What's in the basket? What's in the basket? What's in the basket?" Because they use like all 5 or 6 times they say it throughout the movie. Yeah. My mom's like messaging us on Facebook, what's in the basket? My wife's like, "Don't you know anything about 1982? It was so good.
My wife, I was watching my wife, I was watching it this afternoon or this morning, and I'm watching it in the bedroom, and she comes in and she's like, "Is this a movie you're watching for this week?" And I was like, "Yeah." Okay, I didn't see her after that.
Yeah, nobody watched this with me.
No,
for
she
sure.
went downstairs, and then I went to work and everything, and it was my lunch, right? So I'm like, "Oh well, I'm gonna sit down." She's like, "Hey, you want? Is that the movie you're watching tonight? You want to finish it?" And I was like, "We're eating. You don't want to watch this." So, and this is a funny joke. So. Get done eating, right? She's done eating, I'm done eating, and we're kind of chilling. So I stop the office and I go into Shudder, and she's like, "Did you ask me you could change it?" I was like, "What? Okay." She's like, "Well, that was kind of rude." I was like, "Okay, well, we can watch The Office." She's like, No. You need to watch this for tonight." So before she leaves to go pick up my son, right? The only thing she says the whole time, she's like, "The sound effects are horrifying.
They are.
This is so." And that's whenever the veterinarian gets killed and everything like that. So she doesn't get to see the magnificent rack, right? I'm gonna get lifted by my balls up to the ceiling. Right? Good thing my wife never listens to the show. And so, yeah. And whenever she left, I finished it and was just like, "Damn."
Yeah, I did not remember the weird necrophilia rape scene. I did not remember that from watching it as a kid. I guess maybe I just missed that.
Or put it out of your head.
Yeah, like it blocked it from my memory. It was messed up. So what would you rate this?
How many basket cases out of 5 basket cases? Mm-hmm. Oh, just again, I'll put this at a 3, in the middle.
Ooh.
There's no redeeming quality to this movie at all. There's nothing great about it except for it was made.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this a 2 to maybe a 2.5.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be 2.5 strong arms, so there's that. How about that? Yeah.
Ooh, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 Belial arms out of 5. I do remember watching this as a kid. I don't remember the funky scene, where he was humping the dead girl.
Yeah,
which is just fucking vile.
So weird, man.
Yeah, but honestly, this is another reason why I like movies, because this kind of shit is
100%. As a 2.5 strong arm movie, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Like I laughed. There was a lot of funniness to it, even though it wasn't supposed to be necessarily funny. I laughed a lot.
I knew it was bad.
Yeah,
I know it's bad. I agree with myself that it's bad. Like, I'm not pulling any punches. This is a horrible fucking movie. But it is a piece of art in a weird way.
Well, obviously, I mean, the Museum of Modern Art.
Yeah.
Saved it.
Yeah. They said somebody had like a stage show, and they would play this before her stage show.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a midnight movie that ran for months and months and months in Times Square.
Interesting.
Another fact that I read, too is when they processed the film, they didn't really have any control over it because they didn't have enough money for it. So they processed it in the wrong aspect ratio. They processed it in, kind of like the weird colors and stuff like that. Because you could tell that the lights is basically one of those lamps that they had just pointed at them.
And it was all 16 millimeter, right?
Yeah, it was 60. It was a 16 millimeter movie, which they probably bought all their film, at the camera shop. You know what I mean? They had a nice camera, I guess. There's no such thing as a director of photography in that.
No, I can't imagine.
There was some inventive shots. There was some...
I would say the thing that caught me as inventive, like I said, was even when they were trying to do the stop motion stuff and they threw the drawer at the screen and then changed that perspective on you and then saw it smash. Right. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there.
They might have spent more money on the different baskets, because there's so many different shots from the basket.
That's true.
That they used it well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They really did create this fucking absolutely strange fucking movie.
So, yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about... I'm just going to go quickly over the plot of the sequel because we're never going to do this sequel.
I don't know. It's a deuce.
This is not going to be in my deuces. I'll stick to the first one.
This is like that Cheeto that you ate. This deuce is like the Cheeto that you ate 14 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still there.
Having survived their fall at the end of the film, Dwayne Bradley and his hideously deformed brother Belial are rescued from the hospital by an elderly woman named Ruth, who, along with her beautiful granddaughter, are the caretakers of an extended family of similarly deformed individuals. When a snooping tabloid reporter and a sleazy photographer threaten to endanger the community's welfare, the two brothers join with the freaks to defend their privacy with a vengeance.
I have to watch this now.
I feel like now we have to do a deuce on this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Foreshadowing. Random foreshadowing. Then maybe I won't get into the next one because we should watch this one first.
Oh, wow.
Because there is a third.
Yes.
Dropping turds.
We have the deuces and then the final turd. Well, we had the reason why we did this one is because we cannot find the first deuce that we need to drop. For real. We can't find that first deuce.
The first deuce?
Yeah, the first deuce that we need to in this new deuce.
Oh,
series.
yeah, to kick it off.
Yeah. So we don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But that has been Basket Case.
Yes.
I would say this is probably one of the worst movies of all time.
It's not good.
And it's one of the worst movies that we've ever done on this show. I mean, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2 was better than this.
Well, I mean, that's a high bar to set.
It is. It is.
That's a George Clooney classic.
Yes, it is. But
yeah. So if you'd like, you can check out this for free on Tubi. It's also available on Shudder, I believe.
On Shudder, yes.
So yeah. Amazingly enough, also you do get boobies on Tubi with this movie.
Boobies on the tubies. Well, so yeah.
I was surprised. I'm just saying.
If you want to see that rack, you just got to go to Tubi.
Brock's obsessed with this rack.
Not really, but I mean,
I'm joking.
Yeah, but as far as like movie racks go,
it was pretty solid.
Yeah, it was an '80s rack.
Yeah. Well, I would give it, a high B.
Yeah.
For an 80s rack.
Yeah. I'd go with that. Yeah. So as we in the show,
I know what you're tuning in for, and that's rack ratings.
Yes, rack ratings. Oh shit, that's a new podcast.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's one of our top 5 episodes.
Yeah. The thing is like I don't want my balls anymore. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna get ripped off. So thanks for tuning in to the Drop Culture Podcast. That has been our basket case episode.
That's right.
That you just listened to.
Yeah. If you want to watch it, you can. Let us know what you think about it. If you've seen it before and you have opinions.
Yeah, tell us about.
Where could they do that, Brock?
At dropculture.com or Drop Culture Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
They could even send us an email to dropculturepodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do own this on cassette, VHS cassette, and you want to get rid of it, call our friends over at Colorado Junk Removal, because they will take out all that junk. It's a little bit less mess. You know what I mean? Get rid of that shit. Actually, I'd buy it from you. But
send it to Brock.
Yeah.
He'll take that junk.
Yeah,
you're going to end up with like 25 copies of this.
Oh, that would be so awesome. That'd be the craziest.
This is my basket case shelf.
Yeah. This is every version of basket case ever.
I assume it would just be 25 VHSs of the same movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In French, le basket case. So get at us. Tell us what you think of basket case, or give us the first time you saw it, or what's your arm rating, Belial arm rating.
Absolutely. And if you want, you can give us some ideas for what you might want us to do an episode about. We're always open to those suggestions. We are looking for a solid number 2 to start our Dropping Deuces run. So if you have an idea, let us know. Mm-hmm. Right now we're kind of on hold because we're waiting for one of those movies to arrive.
Yeah, if we can find it.
Oh, we'll find it.
Oh, yeah. It's there. All right, guys. Well, tune in next week when we don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be a cool episode.
It's going to be the best.
Yes. So, we'll talk to you on Monday.
Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace and chicken grease? That sounds better.
It's like eating Kentucky Fried Chicken at like 8 o'clock at night, to where you get the shits at 12. I had this. Oh man, that used to happen to me all the time.
Oh wow,
it was gross.